Toyota Tacoma is in huge trouble, and it's not an exaggeration. For decades, the Tacoma has been the king of mid-size trucks, dominating the market with reliability, off-road capability, and legendary resale value. But right now, that dominance is being challenged like never before, and the cracks are starting to show. Customers who once swore by the Tacoma are now voicing serious complaints, and rival brands are stepping up with trucks that directly expose Toyota's weaknesses. What was once considered an untouchable leader is suddenly under pressure from every angle. One of the biggest problems facing the Tacoma is its outdated engine lineup. While competitors like Ford, Chevy, and even Nissan are offering turbocharged engines with better torque and efficiency, the Tacoma is stuck with an underwhelming 2.7-liter four-cylinder and a 3.5-liter V6 that many call sluggish, especially when towing. Owners are complaining that the truck feels underpowered, especially when compared to rivals like the Ford Ranger or Chevy Colorado. In a market where performance is key, the Tacoma is falling behind, and customers are noticing. Another major issue is fuel efficiency. Gas prices are unpredictable, and buyers want trucks that deliver both power and mileage. The Tacoma's outdated engines are thirsty compared to rivals offering smaller turbocharged engines or hybrid options. Toyota has promised electrification, but while competitors are pushing out hybrids and EVs, the Tacoma still hasn't delivered a real answer. That's a dangerous place to be, especially as government regulations and consumer demand push the industry toward cleaner, more efficient solutions. But the problems don't stop there. The Tacoma's interior has also come under heavy criticism. For years, Toyota has leaned on the built-tough reputation to justify a cabin that many describe as cramped, outdated, and cheap compared to newer rivals. Trucks like the Chevy Colorado and GMC Canyon now offer interiors that feel like modern SUVs, with larger touchscreens, better seating comfort, and more premium materials. Meanwhile, Tacoma owners complain about limited space, dated infotainment, and poor rear seat comfort. In 2025, buyers expect their truck to be both rugged and comfortable, and Toyota is lagging behind. Resale value used to be the Tacoma's secret weapon, but even that advantage is starting to slip. With massive discounts hitting rival mid-size trucks, Toyota is being forced to keep prices high while competitors undercut them. That means used Tacomas aren't holding their value the way they once did, and that's shaking up one of the strongest selling points of the truck. And then there's the reliability question. For years, Tacoma was the gold standard of durability, but recent models have seen a rise in complaints about transmission issues, infotainment glitches, and even frame rust concerns, problems that tarnish Toyota's bulletproof reputation. While it's not at the crisis level yet, the fact that more owners are voicing frustration should be a wake-up call for Toyota. The competition isn't sitting still either. Ford has packed the Ranger with modern features and powerful engine options. Chevy revamped the Colorado with aggressive styling and better off-road trims. Even Nissan, long criticized for being outdated, has stepped up its frontier with more modern tech. Toyota can't afford to stay complacent, but that's exactly how many critics see them, resting on their legacy while rivals innovate. Pricing has become one of the biggest headaches for the Tacoma. Toyota has always charged a premium, banking on its reputation for reliability and resale value, but now that strategy is backfiring. A fully loaded Tacoma can easily push past $50,000, which puts it dangerously close to full-size trucks like the Ford F-150 or Ram 1500. Vehicles that offer far more space, power, and comfort for nearly the same money. Buyers are asking a simple question: why settle for a cramped mid-size when you can move up to a full size for just a little more? That's a problem Toyota hasn't figured out how to answer. The cracks in customer loyalty are also starting to show. For years, Tacoma buyers were some of the most brand-loyal truck owners on the market, sticking with Toyota generation after generation. But as alternatives improve, those loyalists are starting to cross-shop. Some are moving to Ford for the Ranger Raptor, others to Chevy for the Colorado ZR2, and even off-road enthusiasts are finding more value in trucks like the Jeep Gladiator. The Tacoma once owned the off-road mid-size crown with the TRD Pro, but now it's facing tough competition from every direction. And when it comes to the future of trucks, electrification, Toyota is far behind. Ford already has the hybrid Maverick and the fully electric Lightning. GM is pushing into EV territory with the Silverado EV and mid-size electric concepts. Even smaller brands are experimenting with plug-in hybrid systems. Toyota, meanwhile, has only teased the idea of an electrified Tacoma. Consumers who are ready to make the shift are looking elsewhere, and Toyota's slow pace is making the Tacoma look like a dinosaur in a rapidly evolving market. Adding to all of this, Toyota's supply chain struggles and rising production costs have made it harder to keep the Tacoma competitive. Buyers are facing dealer markups, limited availability of popular trims, and fewer incentives compared to rivals. That combination makes the Tacoma feel less like a smart buy and more like an overpriced compromise. For a truck that built its name on being the smart, bulletproof choice, That's a dangerous shift in perception. The off-road image that once made the Tacoma legendary is now being put to the test. For years, the TRD Pro was the badge of honor for adventure seekers. But now, competitors are hitting the market with more aggressive, better equipped, and in some cases cheaper alternatives. The Chevy Colorado ZR2 offers front and rear locking differentials, advanced suspension systems, and a bolder off-road persona. The Ford Ranger Raptor comes with high-output engines and Baja-inspired capabilities that the Tacoma simply doesn't match. Even the Jeep Gladiator, despite its flaws, appeals to hardcore off-roaders with features like removable doors and extreme rock-crawling setups. What used to be Toyota's playground has become a crowded battlefield, and the Tacoma's dominance is no longer guaranteed. Technology is another area where Toyota has been painfully slow. While rivals are rolling out massive touchscreens, over-the-air updates, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and advanced driver assist features, the Tacoma is still seen as outdated. Yes, Toyota has been slowly improving its infotainment systems, but they remain behind the curve. Customers who want their truck to double as a daily driver expect smart connectivity, intuitive software, and modern safety tech. The Tacoma's reluctance to adopt these features has given buyers the impression that Toyota is stuck in the past, more focused on durability than innovation. But in today's market, you need both. Then there's the global competition factor, which Toyota can't ignore. Automakers from Korea and even China are eyeing the midsize truck segment aggressively. Hyundai has already disrupted the market with the Santa Cruz, a truck that appeals to a younger, more urban crowd with its comfort and practicality. Meanwhile, Chinese automakers are preparing to flood international markets with budget-friendly, tech-packed trucks that will undercut Toyota on price while offering features the Tacoma doesn't. For a brand that has relied on its reputation for decades, Toyota suddenly finds itself facing competition it never had to deal with before. And the truth is, the Tacoma's reputation for reliability is the only thing really keeping it afloat right now. Buyers are still choosing it because they trust Toyota's long-term durability, but that trust is beginning to erode as complaints pile up about underpowered engines, cramped interiors, and outdated tech. If Toyota doesn't act fast, the Tacoma risks losing the very edge that made it the king of mid-sized trucks. Dealer markups have turned into one of the most frustrating issues for Tacoma buyers. Because the truck still carries a loyal fan base, many dealerships are slapping on thousands of dollars over MSRP, especially for high-demand trims like the TRD Pro. This practice is pushing frustrated customers to either delay their purchase or jump ship to rival brands offering discounts and incentives. In today's market where affordability is everything, seeing a Tacoma priced well beyond its value is souring the buying experience and damaging Toyota's relationship with its most dedicated fans. The resale value story is another warning sign. For years, the Tacoma was praised for holding its value better than almost any truck in its class, often making it a smart long-term investment. But as competition heats up and as reliability concerns start surfacing, that bulletproof resale value is slipping. Trucks like the Ranger and Colorado are catching up quickly, offering more features at a lower entry cost. And when those hit the used market, buyers will have more affordable options than a high-mileage Tacoma. That shift could completely rewrite one of the strongest selling points in Toyota's playbook. Customer frustration is building, and it's more visible than ever thanks to social media and online forums. Owners are voicing concerns about weak towing performance, uncomfortable seating for long drives, and Toyota's slow pace in updating key features. These aren't just minor complaints. They're the types of issues that can push loyalists to finally try something new. And once they leave, winning them back becomes nearly impossible. What makes all of this even more dangerous for Toyota is that the brand has built a reputation of never reacting quickly. They're known for playing it safe, avoiding risks, and sticking with what worked in the past. But in a truck market that's evolving faster than ever, that slow and steady approach could backfire. If Toyota doesn't shake things up soon, the Tacoma could lose its crown completely, leaving rivals to feast on the customers it took decades to win over. Toyota's slow EV strategy is perhaps the most glaring problem hanging over the Tacoma's future. While Ford, GM, and even up-and-coming startups are racing ahead with hybrid and fully electric pickup trucks, Toyota has been dragging its feet. The Tacoma, in particular, has no hybrid or EV variant on the market right now, and that absence is starting to look like a massive misstep. Consumers who want efficiency, tax incentives, or future-proofing are looking elsewhere, and Toyota risks being labeled as the brand that missed the biggest shift in automotive history. If the Tacoma doesn't get an electrified version soon, it could lose an entire generation of younger buyers who won't even consider a gas-only truck. Meanwhile, global competition is tightening the noose. Automakers from China are gearing up to launch budget-friendly pickups packed with modern technology, aiming to undercut established players like Toyota. These trucks might not match the Tacoma's rugged legacy at first, but their combination of price, features, and tech will be hard to ignore. Add to that the fact that Korean manufacturers like Hyundai and Kia are making serious waves with versatile lifestyle trucks, and suddenly the Tacoma doesn't look like the only smart choice anymore. The global truck market is expanding, and Toyota's hesitation is leaving the door wide open for competitors to take market share. Then we have the changing expectations of consumers. Today's buyers don't just want a truck that can handle dirt trails and last 200,000 miles. They want comfort, cutting-edge technology, safety, and versatility. They expect their midsize truck to pull double duty as both a rugged workhorse and a comfortable family hauler. The Tacoma, unfortunately, hasn't fully adapted to that shift. Its back seats are cramped, its ride quality can feel rough compared to rivals, and its interior design doesn't match the sleek, SUV-like cabins that buyers are gravitating toward. In short, Toyota is selling toughness in a world where people want toughness and refinement. If Toyota doesn't recognize these warning signs, the Tacoma could reach a critical make-or-break moment. Rivals are circling, customer patience is wearing thin, and the once bulletproof resale advantage is crumbling. Unless Toyota makes bold moves, embracing electrification, overhauling design, and aggressively competing on price, the Tacoma risks losing the very identity that made it the undisputed king of mid-sized trucks. Toyota's corporate strategy is a huge part of why the Tacoma is in this mess. The company has built its global reputation on being cautious, conservative, and calculated. That approach worked for decades. It kept costs down, reduced risk, and gave Toyota an image of stability. But in the truck world today, that same cautiousness is holding them back. Rivals are innovating faster, rolling out new powertrains, bolder designs, and aggressive marketing campaigns, while Toyota sticks to incremental updates. The Tacoma is suffering because Toyota refuses to take the bold leaps that the market is demanding. This ties directly into Toyota's hesitation to take risks. Look at Ford. They bet big on the Maverick, a small hybrid pickup that was seen as a gamble, and it became a runaway success. Chevy took risks with the Colorado ZR2 and came out with one of the most respected off-road trims in the segment. Meanwhile, Toyota has been recycling the same formula for years, banking on brand heritage instead of breaking new ground. That reluctance means the Tacoma doesn't feel fresh or exciting anymore. It feels predictable. And in an industry that's rapidly evolving, predictability is a weakness, not a strength. On top of that, Toyota seems to be relying too heavily on brand loyalty, assuming that longtime Tacoma fans will stick around no matter what. But the reality is, even loyalists have limits. When they see better towing numbers, more comfortable interiors, and more advanced tech from competitors, the temptation to switch becomes too strong to ignore. And once a loyal Toyota buyer jumps to Ford or Chevy, it's not just one sale lost, it's potentially decades of repeat business gone. That overconfidence in loyalty could turn into Toyota's biggest blind spot, leaving the Tacoma vulnerable at exactly the wrong time. What's worse is that Toyota is facing a new generation of buyers who don't have the same nostalgic attachment to the Tacoma. Younger buyers don't care about the truck's legacy from the 90s or early 2000s. They care about what it offers right now. If the Tacoma can't match the tech, value, and performance of rivals, Toyota risks losing an entire wave of new customers who might never come back. Rising production costs are adding even more pressure to the Tacoma's situation. Inflation, supply chain disruptions, and higher costs for raw materials like steel and semiconductors have driven manufacturing expenses through the roof. While some competitors have managed to offset these costs with aggressive new models and incentives, Toyota has been slower to adjust. That means the Tacoma ends up sitting at a higher price point without offering enough extra value to justify it. Customers are noticing, and many are asking why they should pay more for a truck that feels less competitive than its rivals. Then there's the issue of government regulations, which are reshaping the truck market at lightning speed. Stricter emission standards and fuel economy requirements are pushing automakers to electrify or risk heavy fines. Ford leaned into this shift early with hybrid and EV trucks. GM followed with EV development, and even Stellantis is making moves in electrification. Toyota, despite being a hybrid pioneer with cars like the Prius, is dragging its feet when it comes to electrified trucks. The Tacoma in its current form risks falling out of compliance in the near future, which could either force Toyota into rushed, costly changes or risk them losing their foothold in markets where regulations are tightening fast. And let's not ignore Toyota's shrinking dominance in the U.S. truck market. The Tacoma used to be the undisputed leader of midsize pickups, but its grip is loosening. Ford is gaining ground with the Ranger, Chevy is clawing back with the Colorado, and Nissan has freshened up the Frontier. Even smaller entrants like the Hyundai Santa Cruz are stealing attention, offering lifestyle versatility that appeals to a new demographic. Once the clear favorite, the Tacoma is now just one option among many, and without major upgrades, it risks fading into the background. This dangerous combination of higher production costs, stricter regulations, and stiffer competition is boxing Toyota into a corner. The Tacoma can no longer rely on its past reputation alone. It needs a bold reinvention to stay relevant. Yet so far, Toyota hasn't shown the urgency that the situation demands. The longer they wait, the harder the climb back to dominance will be. The Tacoma's aging design cycle is another anchor weighing it down. While Toyota has refreshed the truck here and there, the core architecture has gone too long without a complete overhaul. Competitors are cycling through redesigns faster, keeping their models sharp, modern, and appealing. The Tacoma, by contrast, often feels like it's playing catch-up rather than setting the pace. Buyers can tell when a truck is resting on its legacy instead of pushing innovation, and that's exactly the perception the Tacoma is stuck with right now. Adding to this is the rise of aftermarket competition. In the past, Tacoma owners loved customizing their trucks with lift kits, off-road gear, and tech upgrades. But now, rival brands are offering these features directly from the factory. Chevy gives you the Colorado ZR2 with extreme off-road hardware right out of the gate. Ford hands you the Ranger Raptor built for Baja-style performance. Even Jeep equips the Gladiator with trail-ready features that don't require aftermarket tinkering. This leaves Tacoma owners asking why they should pay extra to modify their trucks when competitors deliver those upgrades standard. Toyota's reluctance to expand beyond the TRD trims has created a gap in value that others are exploiting. Then, we have Toyota's global priorities, which are also hurting the Tacoma's standing in the U.S. market. Toyota sells vehicles all over the world, and much of its focus is on high-volume markets like Asia and Europe, where compact cars, hybrids, and small SUVs dominate. Trucks, while important in North America, don't carry the same global weight. That means resources, R&D budgets, and leadership attention often get funneled into other projects, leaving the Tacoma starved of innovation. Meanwhile, rivals like Ford and GM, who treat trucks as their bread and butter, pour everything into ensuring their pickups stay ahead of the game. This mismatch in corporate focus is slowly eroding the Tacoma's competitive edge. Put these factors together, and the picture becomes clear. The Tacoma isn't just facing external threats. It's also being held back by Toyota's own internal decisions and priorities. What was once the most dependable name in mid-size trucks is now looking vulnerable, and if Toyota doesn't pivot quickly, it risks losing not just sales, but its hard-earned reputation. Toyota's weak marketing strategy is another piece of the puzzle that's dragging the Tacoma down. For years, Toyota relied on its reputation to do the heavy lifting. Ads centered on reliability, ruggedness, and legacy. But in today's market, that message is no longer enough. Competitors like Ford and Chevy are aggressively marketing their trucks as lifestyle vehicles, adventure machines, and high-tech daily drivers. They're showing bold imagery, highlighting cutting-edge features, and directly targeting younger buyers. Toyota's marketing, by comparison, feels outdated and uninspired, failing to connect with the new generation of truck shoppers who want more than just dependability. This ties directly into shifting consumer lifestyles. The typical mid-sized truck buyer isn't just a construction worker or off-road enthusiast anymore.